Hello and welcome to lesson 1 of week 27. In this lesson, we're going to look at MySQL stored procedures. Now, we use stored procedures sometimes when we want to store some of our queries on the server. And I'm going to just start my server, and we're going to work with the secular database that we used in part 1. Now, I will start with use secular like this. When I run this, we see our secular database selected. We see all the tables that we have. Let's say, for instance, I want to select all from customer. When I run this, I'll see all of the different customers. But I want to get just the first name, last name, and maybe I want to get the email, first name, last name, and email. And for whatever I'm doing, maybe this is a frequently accessed part of the query. I always want to get first name, last name, and email. Maybe that is something. And this makes it even easy for retrieval. That's one of the advantages. But the funny part is there are other advantages, and there are also disadvantages of this, especially when you have many stored procedures. I want you to research stored procedures, what the advantages are, and see if it applies to the system that you are building and the frequency of retrieval of your query. So this basically just stores the query on the database server for later execution. And so we come here to create a stored procedure. But before then, when we take a look at the schemas and we select secular here, we have the tables, we have views, we have stored procedures. Stored procedure, we have film in stock, stored procedure. We have film not in stock, and we have rewards report. We use the create procedure statement like this. Before we create this procedure, we want to define the delimiter, and we define delimiter by deciding what we want to use that is not the semicolon. So we are doing this to change what the delimiter originally is. So I can use 2/ as my new delimiter, or I can use $, whatever you use. Let's say $2 like this as my delimiter, and then I'll say create procedure, and I'll give the procedure a name. Let's say get customers, and this procedure is one that will not take any argument. Then I will begin, and what statements I want to use for this is to say select. I want to get just the first name, I want to get the last name and the email of the customers. And let's say I want to frequently call first name, last name, email. I want this query stored on the server. So this is the query I want to have. Or let's say I even want it ordered also. Let's say order by first name. I want it alphabetically in ascending order by first name. Once I do this and I'm done with all my query, I have to use end, and I'm ending the delimiter I used, and then I will now redefine my delimiter to be back to using the semicolon as a delimiter like this. I will explain this for you again. Creating the stored procedure is just like you're creating a function or a method. In MySQL, we use the create procedure method to create a stored procedure. And because by default we use a semicolon to terminate statements, and our stored procedure might have series of semicolon in the statement, we want to change what the delimiter is from semicolon. In MySQL, we use delimiter and then a new character that we want to use as a delimiter to change it from semicolon, so that we can write our query without the fear of semicolon and breaking the query. We start by changing delimiter by saying delimiter, and I want it to be $2 to be a delimiter. So if it doesn't see $, I am not at the end of the statement yet. So it's no longer semicolon like my SQL knows. Then I use create procedure. You can use if not exist also, and I gave it a name, get customers. We can make it in lowercase, which is better, and it takes parameters in the parentheses, but we're going to look at that in the next lesson. But let's say I'm doing get customers, and what I want to do is that from the customer table, I want to just get the first name, last name, and email sorted in alphabetical order by the first name. And then once I'm done with my query, I'll put end $, delimiter. So this now stores this query on the server, and when I run this, it will store the new stored procedure if all is well. And when I refresh this, I should have a new stored procedure here, get customers. Now this does not take parameters, so if I want to call it, all I need to do is to write the statement call and the name of my stored procedure, which is get customers, and it has no argument in the parentheses. So let's say get procedures. We're done with this. Let's comment it out, and then I'm going to call get customer like this. And when I run this, it should display what I want: first name, last name, email. So every time I want to get the first name, the last name, the email of a customer sorted by first name in ascending order, I only just call get customers like this. But we just created a basic stored procedure that gives us only what we want from the customer table. We gave it a name. We can always call get customers, and this is how we use stored procedure to make our query easy, to make us store queries on the server, and it makes the ease of retrieval. In the next lesson, we're going to look at how to use parameters, and then we're going to talk about the advantages, disadvantages, and the use case of stored procedures. Thank you, and see you in the next lesson.